everyone, thank you for joining me today for some Pilates. Today's workout is a beginner workout, so I really want you to focus here on your breath and your positioning and really just listen in on my cues so that you can get the most out of it. So this is kind of a follow-on from my part 1 and 2 of how to get the most out of your workouts. So if you haven't seen those already, I highly recommend checking that out so that you know a little bit more detail into your setup positioning and why we're doing it. So anyway, let's get stuck into it. There will be no equipment for this one, just your bodies and a mat. So we're going to start by lying down on our backs. So feet are down nice and flat, rolling down, head is long and relaxed. So just bring those heels so they're a little closer to your bottom, about a hand distance apart. So you've got your feet in line with your knees and your hip bones. So your legs are train tracks, they're parallel. Then we're finding our neutral spine. So we're coming into a few pelvic tilts. Pop your hands onto your hip bones. I want you to arch your back, lifting your lower back off your floor. And then exhale, smush your lower back in towards your mat. So we're rolling that pelvis under. So inhale now as we lift up the lower spine and we're arching, creating a really big gap here underneath my hand. And then lower abs pull in, really smush that mat in. So go for a couple here, inhaling into our anterior tilt, and then exhale, tucking that tailbone under and long towards my feet. And then we're coming into our neutral spine. So that's in between those two movements. So just rocking that pelvis to find a nice relaxed neutral spine. So that's our natural curvature of our spine, where it's nice and safe and we're going to support everything around our spine safely. So now we add on with a bit more functional movement. Pop your hands long down beside you, roll those shoulders down away from your ears. Breathing in. On your exhale, we'll take the leg to tabletop. So drawing in those abdominals, float the leg to 90 degrees, that's tabletop. And then lower that foot back down. Breathing in and breathing out. So breathing in to lower, and we're just going to alternate between the legs, so breathing out to lift. So remember that breath in is through the nose and breath out is through those pursed lips. Good. Do a couple more here. What you're focusing on here is keeping your pelvis really steady. So there should be no rocking as we lift the leg. That means our abs have let go. So keep your pelvis as steady as you can with just those legs moving. Good, so really open up through the front chest, push your shoulder blades into your mat, nice neutral spine. All right, let's go a little deeper now. We'll keep the leg to tabletop, hold, extend and reach the leg, back to tabletop, and then plant the foot back down, other side. Breathing out to lift and extend, breathing in to return and lower. Good, just alternating here. Again, no rocking through your pelvis. So this is that really deep core work here we're working on. So that belly button to spine just means we're trying to flatten our abdominals. So we always exhale on the hardest part of the exercise. So that would be now when my leg is lifted, I need maximum support through my core. Good, a couple more here. Then we'll take both legs to tabletop. So let's go one more on each side. Good, one more here. And then both legs nice and flat, or feet flat. So then we exhale, bring one leg to tabletop, hands down by your side. Exhale, take another exhale to lift the leg to tabletop. So now both legs are in tabletop. My abs are already on because I'm here to support my lower back. So neutral spine. Then we're extending just one leg. Bring it back in, opposite leg extends. So this time it's a breath out to extend, breath in to return. Good, so we're already heating up a little bit more in that core. This is really good. We're just gonna be here for about another 15 seconds. And so that's so we don't fatigue the abs. And because when that happens, everything just stops working basically. So we're just going for another 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and then float the legs back down, 1 and 2. Beautiful. So let's reset, bring the legs back to tabletop, exhale, breathe in, exhale, float the second leg to tabletop. Hold it there, little toe taps. So we're lowering one leg to the floor and then lift it back up. So lowering and then tabletop. Good, exhale to draw up, inhale to lower. If this is too much, come back to that first variation where the feet are flat and we just lift up and down, lift up and down. If you're okay though, we're up in tabletop, little scissors here. Think about your leg being on a hinge here, so we're just hinging from the hip. The whole leg lowers and then the whole leg lifts. We're not changing the shape of my knee alignment. Everything is just lowering and lifting in one. This is to maintain that good core connection here. Good, another 10 seconds and then we'll rest again. Just ensuring as we lower here, we're not arching our back off the floor. Keep that neutral spine, and sometimes we just need to reset and wiggle out and then come back into it. So another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower those legs back down. Curls. So bring the hands behind the head now. I want you to interlace your hands so they look like that. The thumbs run down the back of your neck. So neutral spine. On your exhale, we lift the head and shoulders, sliding those ribs down towards your hips. So we're flattening that tummy at the top. Really hold there for 2, and then inhale to lower the head, relax it back down. So again, breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. Remember when we breathe out, it's that pelvic floor lifting here to help support everything inside. So breathing in to relax everything, exhale, melting those ribs down, pulling up that pelvic floor, inhale to relax. The other thing I want you to think about is not pulling on that neck to lift. So really make your head heavy into those hands. It's just purely in those abs here. Good. Nice, we've got another 15 seconds here. Make sure you're pausing at the top. We keep the elbows wide and the neck is really long. We go for another 8 seconds. Just 4, 3, 2, let's do one more. Coming up, hold, and then lower down. Great, then we'll come into our tabletop. So hands down by your side to start with, exhaling each time as we float the legs to tabletop. Hands back behind your head, and let's go for our curls with legs to tabletop. So curling up on your exhale, and then inhale to lower everything down. So sliding that rib down towards your hips, really shortening here. Keep the elbows wide. You got a slight chin tuck, is what I was going to say. You have a slight tuck of your chin. Good. Keep your eye gaze on at your knees or just at those mid thighs here. Good. Your abs should be really warming here. Just ensuring when you do curl up that we're not bulging that six pack up. It's that transverse abdominis, our really deep layer here to pull everything in like a corset. Good, we have another 15 seconds here. Hopefully you're doing okay. Keep those knees just floating over those hips and your shins are parallel to the ceiling. We just go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Feet come back down. Lovely. All right, from here we're going to come into our side plank, one of my faves. This is a side support with our knees down. So beginner option, knees are staying down, your elbow right underneath that shoulder, really broad through the front here. Stack your hips so they're one on top of the other. Stack your shoulders so they're one on top of the other. Good. On your exhale, lifting your hips off the floor, creating a long line from the shoulder to your hip to your knee. So one long line, so it should be just tracing along that front of your mat. Float that top hand towards the ceiling now, and then lower the hips back down, bringing the hand to the knee. So lifting everything up and inhale. So breathing out, really push up and out of this shoulder. So often we want to sink here. Let's really think strong here. Good. Can we keep those ribs in at the front here? Drawing up through that lower belly. Nearly forgot what my hand was doing then. Good. This is working our side oblique. So our side waist muscle. Really cinching in that waist. Another 15 seconds here. Really pushing that forearm through the floor. 10 seconds to go. Then we're going for a little hold at that top point. So 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's hold this next one up. So really strong, just holding here for 5, 4, 3, push those hips forward, tuck that tailbone under slightly, 2, and 1. Lower those hips back down. Nice one. Now we're going to lay on our backs again like we were for our hip bridges. This is going to work into those glutes and a bit into those hamstrings. So feet are in that tram track position here. Hands are relaxed down by your side. Okay, so just like those pelvic tilts that we started with, we're going to flatten that lower back in towards your floor. So your tailbone is tucking under. Now squeeze your sit bones together, squeeze your glutes, rolling up into your first bridge. So we're here in this position, those ribs are down, creating a nice line and openness through the front. And then melt each bone down one at a time. So lengthen that spine, bone by bone. The tailbone will be the last thing to touch, and then rock back into that nice neutral. So I'm just going to show you with my hands up so you can see the spine position. Tuck that tailbone under, flatten that lower back, abs are in, squeeze your sit bones together, squeezing those glutes to roll up. Now if you're feeling a little tight through those hip flexors, sometimes we don't come up too high, and that's fine. We're just starting to increase that range perhaps with each rock here. So if you like, you can join me with those hands to the ceiling. If you're feeling okay, this does just intensify the glute activity just a little bit, which ain't a bad thing sometimes. So what I'm focusing here on is that tuck under of that tailbone. So I'm in a posterior tilt. And even when I'm at the top here, I'm reaching my knees long over my toes. So I'm getting as much stretch and length through my spine, reaching out through that crown of the head, and then melting down. So this works on some mobility through the entire spine. So segmental articulation. It's a breath out as we roll up. Inhale here, shoulders down and back. Exhale as we melt back down. Good, so really focus on those glutes. We'll start to feel them kick in shortly. Really good. So keeping that pelvis square. So we want to have both hip bones level here, no tilting, no rocking. So tucked under tailbone and square hips. Nice. So maybe it's kicked in now, those glutes, hopefully. Really think about pushing through those heels nice and equally here. Those abs are on to assist you. Rolling up for another 20 seconds. Good, 15 to go. Remember, you can always have those hands down by your side just to help you out a little. We're not pushing for our dear life to help us out, but they're just resting. Nice, we have another 8 seconds to go. Then we'll hold our bridge at that top point. Great work. We're going to hold up in 3, in 2, peel up, hold it at that top. We're going to go into our marching legs. So keep those hips really steady. No rocking. We're lifting one leg to tabletop, squeezing this under glute. Lower the leg down gently. Keep the hips level as we float the second leg to tabletop. Or the other leg. We're just doing one leg at a time. So alternating here. So I'm still continuing to tuck that tailbone under, And I don't want any arching or flaring in those ribs. So ribs are in, nice neutral spine. So continuing here, 20 more seconds. This will fire up the glutes a little more. Stay really strong and lifted out of that glute. Push through the heel. Halfway. Good, about 8 seconds to go. Then we're staying high in that bridge. We'll finish with some little pulses. If you need to roll down, please do so. Please reset. You can always roll down and join me. But we'll stay high in 3, in 2, and 1. So both heels are down. This time, we're lowering the hips down just an inch, and then we squeeze the glutes back up. Inhale to lower, exhale to squeeze and lift. 20 seconds on this one. Push through those heels. Really squeeze those glutes together. So wrap those sit bones together. Those abs are really nice and tight through the front. Nice work. 10 to go. Really heating up nicely. Really squeeze just for 8, for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Roll down, bone by bone. Tailbone will be that last thing to touch. And neutral. Great work. So just coming on up, we're going to do our side plank on the other side. So this is our left forearm down. So left forearm down, shoulder stacked right over that elbow, and knees are together. Let's lift the waist up, lift the hips, reach that hand up towards the sky. Good, make sure that shoulder's away from the ear here. Holding nice and tall just for a moment. Really squeeze those inner thighs together. We're going to lower the hips down, wave the arm to your knee, and lift everything back up. Good, lowering, pushing through that forearm. Again, strong through my left shoulder this time. So this is a good one to work on our shoulder strength and those postural muscles around there. But our main focus is just cinching in, narrowing in of that waist. So that belly button to spine, neutral spine as well. Yeah, so keep that arm waving up and down. Good, you might even feel your glute on this side, particularly because we just worked in the bridges. So I'm feeling that underside glute work. That's because it's stabilizing me here. Good, 10 more seconds. Then we stay high. I keep forgetting about that arm. I'm sure you've got it. We hold high in 5, in 4, 3, 2, hold it high for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower those hips back down. Really good. So now we're just going to come into our 4-point kneel. Just to break it up, get that spine moving. So those hands are right underneath your shoulders and those knees right underneath those hips. I'm gonna take what we call a cat-cow. So exhaling, push through those palms, rounding through the spine, lifting the belly, really creating a nice rounded spine. Then we take it in the opposite direction. Inhale to lower the chest, eye gaze looks forward, tailbone tilts high. And let's keep moving in and out of this. So flexion through the spine as we push up, and extension of the spine as we look forward and arch our back. Shoulders are down. Good, couple more here. So let's take one more in each direction, really pushing through, rounding. Make them as big as you can. Last one on your inhale. And then we find our neutral spine. So in between those two movements is our neutral. So nice neutral and natural curvature of our spine. You should be able to balance your coffee on your back without spilling it. So don't spill it, no one wants that. So then from here, I'm going to come into a bit of arm work. So keep those elbows really pushing in towards the center of the mat. So it's almost like a wrapping of those elbows. We want to shift your body forward. So my chin is in line with my front fingers here, my fingertips. Then from here, keep those elbows in. We lower the elbows just halfway. The hips are still high, and then we exhale to push up through those arms. So inhaling as we lower down, exhaling as we push up. So keeping that body weight forward is harder. If it's too strong for you, perhaps on those wrists or triceps, just shift your body weight back a little. Just keep those hips up and just keep those elbows kissing in together like they're brushing past your ribs. So abs are lifted here as well. Do not lose control of them. Just halfway down and push back up. You'll start to feel that heat warm into the backs of those arms. Again, working those triceps, one of our postural muscles, really strengthening around our shoulder blades as well. So all those good things, keep it coming for 10, for 8, in 5, we hold it halfway. Little challenge, lowering and holding in 4, in 3, in 2, and let's lower it on your next one. So come down, hold it there, keep that weight forward. We just hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Push back up. So good. Come into a nice quick child's pose, sinking those hips back down onto your heels. Maybe a little sway from side to side. Then ripple up into your 4-point kneel. So back to where you were. This time we're going to mobilize the spine a little. Take that left arm up towards the sky. And then thread it under between your hand and your thigh. And then come down. Try and get that shoulder towards the floor. We're just doing 3 of these on each side. This is working on our upper back mobility. So pushing through that supportive hand. Keep those abs in. Looking at that hand as we wrap it right under. One more. Maybe our range is a little bit more on that third one, hopefully. This is a good one to revisit if you're feeling particularly tight on one side, which you'll know in a moment. Taking that right hand up and thread it under, looking at that hand, sinking that shoulder down. Good, 2 more. Lift up and out of that left arm. Thread it under. Last one. Great, so now we're just going to finish with a bit of glute strengthening and then we finish with another stretch. So this is our side lying glutes, one of my faves. You're just going to take a line down on your side. Let's go on your left side. Your arm is nice and long onto the floor and I want your body to be stacked here. So your hips and shoulders are just lying one on top of the other. You're in a neutral spine and your heels are in line with your glutes. So we're here. Take that top hand up, reach it over and lift your rib cage away from the floor. So there's going to be a little gap now. Keep that gap and bring your hand back to the hip. Hold it there, really stretch that hip away from your face. So length through that top waist. Hold, little clams. We just turn that knee up towards the sky and then we close it back down. Breathing out as we exhale. Sorry, breathing out as we open the knee. Breathing in as we lower. This one, as I said, works on our glutes. This particular one is our glute med. So around where my hand is, you can pop your hand here as well, kind of where your pocket might be, just a bit to that side. So you might even feel that muscle pop up underneath your hand. So if you need a bit of a visualization, a bit of a tactile cue, pop your hand here, squeeze it as you open the knee. We just go for another 20 seconds. Good. We're going to float those legs off, and our heels, off the floor in another 10. So 8 more seconds. Squeeze and open. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Close the leg. Lifting the heels off the floor. Continue that same clam. So opening into that external, closing it down. Opening and closing. So it's our thigh bone here rotating in its socket into that external rotation. That's where our glute med really fires up. Good. If this one's a little bit hard for you, just pop your feet down. Continue here. 20 more seconds. Keep that rib cage lifted. Those abs are on, we're almost there. 10 more seconds, then we open that knee. We're going to hold it there, finishing with some little kicks. In 5, 4, 3, 2, on the next one, hold that knee up, and then just extend that leg, point and reach, and then heel back together. Point and reach, and connect the heels. Great work. 10 seconds, really squeeze to extend the leg. Get that hip bone to reach away from your face. We go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Heels back together, close the knees, lower those feet down. Really nice work. If you need a little tap out, go for it. So we're just gonna swap over to the other side. So exactly the same thing, let's get it done. Lie down onto our right arm, stacking your knees together, hips stacked, shoulders stacked, open through the front. Start with your heels in line with the bottom there. And we're lifting that top hand up, reaching over, lifting that side waist. Hand plants back onto that top hip. We push it away. Let's go into those clams. So remember, we're squeezing here to open the knee. As I open the knee, we don't want to go too far that your hips rock. Just keep everything stacked. So if your range is a little smaller, that is awesome. Everyone's going to be a little different. Nice. One more thing. If you feel your hip flexors firing here, which often I will, I'll just change the position of your heels. So heels either further away or closer can change the firing pattern. So we want it so it's just purely in that glute. So either heels away, further in, or forward even, and have a little bit of a play around. So on that note, just 10 seconds to go. Then we're gonna float those heels up. And then we'll continue those clams. So in 5, in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Close the knee, float those heels up. Just those clams again. Really spiraling that thigh bone in its socket as we rotate it up and out. Great work. So again, if this one isn't for you, just pop those feet down and continue. Really focus on that core stabilizing here. That helps you out on keeping your hips steady. So we're going for 5. In 4, we open the knee and hold in 3, 2, squeeze those heels, open and hold, and let's kick. Extend and heels together. Extend, heels together. This is the home stretch. Really squeeze here. Make each one count. Almost done, and then we get a little stretch. Good. Are those hips still stacked? Rib is up. We go for 4, 3, 2, last 1. Heels back together, close the knees, lower those feet down. Really nice. So let's come into a mermaid stretch now. This one is our Z sit. So just bringing one shin parallel to the front of your mat. The other leg is just behind. So if this doesn't feel great for your knees and hips, you can always just cross your legs and do the same stretch. So either way, we're gonna bring right hand down to the floor, left arm reaches up, leaning over. So maybe that forearm can come towards the floor if you have that available, and you're really opening that chest up towards the sky here. Good, other side, left hand down, reach that right hand up, and then over, chest shines up. This lengthens out through our side waist, through those obliques we worked in our side plank. Let's go another each side. Good, then we repeat with our legs in the other direction, just to even it up. So down, open the chest. Just 2 on each side, and then you are all done with me. Up and over. Good, last one. Reaching, lengthening, breathing out. Amazing, you are all done. Thank you so much for your time here on the mat and joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this beginner style workout. If you did, let me know below. So thanks again, and I'll see you back here on the mat really soon. Bye.